Hi guys, so watch part 1. I'm adding a card and an annotation here. Basically, I'm talking about my boyfriend's psycho ex, and she pretty much bullied me and taunted me, so this is the story time continuing on. But yes, if you haven't watched the first part, then watch the first part, but let's continue. So this is after my birthday party, and Darren and I started to see each other, so go. Fast forward to the next week, we ended up getting really serious, hanging out every day, going on skates. I remember him inviting me for dinner, taking me out and stuff, and he was really trying hard. Like, he was buying me things, and this is a story that I can't wait to tell on my channel of how Darren and I got together, because you guys will fall in love with Darren when you listen to this video of how Darren and I got together. Everything he did was like Prince Charming, and you'll see that in the video, but I'll try to skip over some of these bits because I will make that video. And the messages between Selma and I become a bit more personal. She starts telling me like what's it like going through a breakup and how she can't stand like seeing him with someone else, trying to convince me that he's abusive, and like she continues to talk to me about him. I really, at this point, I wanted to have Darren, and Darren, he made it very clear that no matter what, he was going to have me, and there was nothing that was going to stand in the way. From my birthday on, when she started to find out Darren and I were hanging out, I was getting calls left, right, and center, and it was getting ridiculous. She continues to message me online and calls me. At this point, I just ignore all of her calls. It just, every time I would answer, I would be with Darren and she'd be like, bet he's there right now. Like, she didn't start off by saying like rude things to me, but she would always say like snarky things like, I bet he's there right now, like I bet he's dropping you home right now. And I remember even like a few times she'd be like, I know you're at Darren's house, and I was at Darren's house, and it made me feel like she was like stalking me or like stalking him, but the stalking comes later. So anyways, she just messaged me stuff saying how like the breakup is really hard when I'm in the picture. She told me not to tell him that, but at this point Darren and I were sleeping together, so I was like, I'm gonna tell him about all the stuff she's saying to me. He tells her, because she harassed his phone more than mine at this point, she would call him like every day. I remember driving and the music stopping because she'd call. I remember that. Oh my god, I can fucking relive it. I relive every time we're in the car. I feel like the music would stop because it's just ringing, and then if she didn't ring his phone, she would ring my phone. It was like back and forth, and it was so ridiculous considering that they were broken up for 3 months.
Thanks for telling him that I messaged you, by the way. I literally can't go anywhere now without him complaining I'm going to be there.
That's because she would follow him everywhere. Guys, I'm gonna make it very clear right now that how she treated Darren in the relationship was straight up, she was abusive. She would use self-harm to make him do things, or suicide to make him do things, and that is the reason why it took them so long to leave things and cut ties, because he still cared she might end up doing something stupid, and that's how good of a person he was. He still stuck around even though she was annoying and she was rude and she was so ugly with her words. He kept being there and helping her out because she'd say that she was suicidal, and I understand what that's like. But at this point it was just getting too much. It was getting too much. The phone calls, oh my god, it was like 20 phone calls a day at this point. Like in the first 3 weeks of us dating, it was so many phone calls. I've shown people, I filmed videos where she would call me in the middle of a video. For example, here's a video of me live streaming and she calls me.
Stop calling him, holy shit. He doesn't want to talk to you. Do you get that message? Okay. It's the usual useless bullshit. So you haven't managed to sort that out? You've had ages. You've had 3-4 months. Well, I'm up with you, what, 3-4 months ago, and you're still calling him. If Sam needs money, why won't Sam contact him?
You're Darren's house right now and throw you over the fucking balcony, because I will.
Oh, you could try.
Yeah, I will. Just I need to ask him about work-related stuff.
Oh, you don't get it. He doesn't talk to you.
Sit on speaker, for God's sake.
It is on speaker.
Sick, okay? Then, if you can freaking hear me, can you just tell him? Yeah, okay. And can you actually say that to him right now, please, so he knows?
She would call me so often, and I remember on that live stream, while I was connecting to the live stream, that's when Darren took the phone and said to Selma, you have literally called us 32,000 times today. And this is what Selma said: I didn't call you 32,000 times. I called you 19 times. I only called you 19 times. I only called you 19 times. Like, If someone called me like 19 times, like if it was my mom, I would shit myself. But like this girl had broken up with this dude for over 3 months who's now seeing someone else, and him and his girlfriend were getting calls. They met up one last time just to give some of Selma's stuff back, and they met at Darren's apartment where Darren's housemate was there, so she witnessed the whole thing, and she told me everything about what had happened as well too. Selma had punched Darren in the face because she was so angry with him, you know, getting with me and stuff, and punched him in the face. I think that's so Darrow, and I think you're so uneducated. Like, if you can't hurt someone with your words, this is such bad advice, but if you can't hurt someone with your words, then you are uneducated, because if I wanted to hurt someone, I could say something, like a one-liner sentence about something, and it will be like a fucking needle in the most softest spot in your body, and it will fucking hurt you. I could say that with one phrase, but that's why I think people who are violent are stupid, because if you want to hurt someone, this is such bad advice. No. I mean, I would never be physical to someone who I keep trying to make my friend. And so she punched him in the face, and I remember responding back to her and saying,
I don't like violence, and now I have no respect for you.
And the worst thing about it is that she was making posts on Facebook saying that he like hurt her, he abused her, and all of his friends and her friends were saying to her that like this is dumb. Like, I wish I had all of those posts that she posted, because I'm not friends with her on Facebook or anything, but I remember she made posts saying that he punched her, and I remember she was trying to convince me as well that he punched her. And Kaya, who is Darren's housemate, like told me that that didn't happen, that it was a lie, etc., etc. So, and I remember on that phone call on You Now, what she said to me on the minute that it was silent, because like when you watch the You Now, I don't put her on speaker until she says like I'm gonna throw you off the balcony. But before that, she was saying to me, she's like, oh, you know that Thursday, yeah, Darren and I were cuddling, he came over my house to apologize. Like, she was like, he's two-timing you with me, like why do you think I'm calling so much? And I remember being like, I was with Darren like the whole Thursday. Like, I was with him the entire day, and the entire night, and so I knew she was obviously lying, and she was obviously trying to attack me and him, like by saying that he was cheating on me or he was being unfaithful, when in reality the entire day he was with me. Just unfriended her, and I just never responded to anything else. I haven't even gotten to the bit where why she's in jail or how she's in jail or how I'm going to celebrate. That's funny, like we're probably 30-40 minutes in, and we're not even to the point of why she's in jail. Honestly, at the end of 2016, that's when I stopped hearing from her. And, you know, those phone calls that I was getting for almost a month straight, Darren and I were getting multiple phone calls every day from her. We knew it was from her. She would call me things like, you Asian mutt, ping pong, ching chong, chink. And I also have like screenshots. I think they're through Instagram. Honestly, I'm tired of like putting all these receipts on this video, because if you already see like how she talks, you can already like believe everything I'm saying just by those text messages, those Facebook messages that I've already shown. When I was at this festival, she messaged me saying like, you look like you wear bondage shit out just for a talk, because I was wearing a bondage chain when I went to this festival. But it's just funny how she like messaged me just to let me know what I was wearing. Like, obviously you're spending so much of your time looking at what I'm doing. You clearly have some type of obsession with me, and that's not even like, I'm not even saying that with an ego. I'm just saying, why would you want to focus so much of your time, your eyes, energy, and effort on someone that you say you don't like? But I'll try to show more receipts of all these times where she was super racist towards me. Australia is one of the most multicultural countries in the entire world, and if you are racist in Australia, you clearly haven't got an education, or you don't have a brain. And she was like the kind of person where I remember hearing Darren, I remember hearing Carrie, I remember hearing Carrie's boyfriend, and all them being like, can you just like stay away? Like, can you just stay away? And it just wouldn't like click. Like, it wouldn't click to her. I'd tell her like, stop calling me, and she'd hang up and call me 5 minutes later, and I'm like, at that point, you just get so frustrated. Imagine every month getting phone calls, just her calling you these like racist names, saying that you have crooked teeth or blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, sure, call me chink, call me ping pong. She keeps calling me a Taiwan pig. I'm not even Taiwanese, which is so funny because she clearly knows nothing about me, and she keeps trying to insult me. She ended up insulting herself by showing her lack of education. She says that apparently I act like I'm the hottest shit, which is like what she interprets from me, which is funny. Why she even like focusing on me, like what what the hell? If you're gonna try to hurt me, fucking try. Don't try to come at me with my fucking accent. Don't try to come at me with my Asian heritage. Like, that doesn't insult me. Like, that doesn't insult me at all. It might insult my culture and make you look like a fucking uneducated, stupid ass bitch, but it doesn't hurt me telling me I have fucked up teeth. I like my teeth, so that doesn't hurt me. Like, if you want to fucking hurt me, you would have to know me, but you don't know me, so you can't hurt me. This skin is so thick. I'm a YouTuber. I get hate every day. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit like stressed out. I can't do this video anymore. The worst thing about it is I'm not even like halfway there. I started to notice, and this was like in the start of 2017, I noticed that she would like photos of mine from like 5 weeks ago, and this was on my spam account when I was posting like multiple times a day. So she literally went to like the end of the scroll through my spam account, liked a photo, and then when I like refreshed my notifications because I showed my friend at the time, I was like, oh my god, why is Darren's ex still stalking me? Then she had unliked it, so it was quite obvious that she was like looking through my account and then accidentally liked it and then quickly unliked it. I never checked my DMs, and I remember early 2017 I opened up my DMs and it would just be her like responding sometimes nice things and then sometimes really nasty things. She would continue calling me an Asian mutt, like all these things, but then she'd also like be like, oh, you're so talented. I remember her calling me talented and I'm like, I'm so confused, you're so bipolar as fuck. I mean, and I don't even try to use that as an insult because she has bipolar disorder. She actually has a plethora of mental health issues, but it went on like this for months. Messages, DMs, she just sent me Instagram DMs like all the time. Even in the screenshot when I asked her, why do you have such a huge grudge on me? She tells me verbatim, she says to me, I have a grudge with you because you think you're God's gift, which is, oh my god, like, I'm sorry that I love myself, like, I'm sorry that I care about myself, like, what the fuck. Sometimes I would bite back. Like, this is when I make my disclaimer that at this point, it was Darren and I worked together for 6 months, and that was the point when I started to be rude back because I was just constantly having her stalk me. She would look at my stories, she'd like things and then unlike them, and it just made me feel like I was watched, I was judged by someone who was just constantly like looking at what I was doing. It was different because she was a hater. It's okay that you guys look at what I'm doing, but she was a hater. So if you hate me so much, just stop looking at what I'm doing. Like, I thought it was that obvious. You know, for the next year of 2017, every time I went out clubbing, and I'll talk about like the 3 most memorable times. Every time I go out clubbing and I see her, she grunts at me. She doesn't snark at me. She grunts at me, like she's like I don't know what she does. I don't know how to imitate it. It's like I don't know. It's like so much low pitch. So this is one time I wrote down. So Delta Heavy, and I just came back from a wine tour and I'm walking in the city. I'm looking hot as fuck too. Like, I'm in heels for the first time in like my life. I'm just walking and she waits until I walk past her, and I didn't realize she was there. Like, all of the times I've ever realized that she's gone out clubbing, the same club that I'm at, is because I hear her. I don't see her. Like, I don't look around and like look for her. The only time I notice that she's there is when she makes noises at me. And she waits until I walk past her, and I don't know who she was with, but I'm hoping like one of the people who are watching this video knows this and can vouch. And I'm walking and she's like, nice girlfriend, Darren. She's like, nice girlfriend, Darren. He's so funny. Oh my god. This was actually after what she said to him on Australia Day. So Australia Day at the start of this year, I know it's been going on for like over a year. So at the start of this year, we went to a house party on Australia Day, and the first thing she says to Darren when she shows up is, why the fuck is dickhead Darren here? Wait, I'm sorry. Why the fuck is dickhead Darren here? That's literally what she said. Like, imagine being at a party and some person just, like, wants to hate on you, like, for no reason. Darren's doing his own thing. Darren has always been the type of person where he's doing his own thing, and if you're having a good time, he's happy for you. But she always, like, wanted to make sure that it was known that she was there, yell, snark at me. I remember also during Australia Day, Darren and I were, like, wrestling in our bikini. Well, I was in my bikini because it was Australia Day. We were swimming, and we were just wrestling, like, half naked or whatever, because Darren and I always wrestle. Like, we get into wrestling match every couple hours. Like, we just like to wrestle each other. So we're wrestling, he's bothering me, he's trying to, like, bite my neck or whatever, and I hear, like, nah, sorry, I wish I could make, like, nah, like, just constant, nah, Like, just constantly being annoyed and like grunting and like, why don't you just have a good time? Why don't you smile for once in your life and enjoy yourself in the corner? Like, I've never had to deal with someone who's like taunted me. Obviously, I wouldn't say that she's taunting me because it doesn't affect me, because I know I'm above her, I know I'm smarter than her, I know I'm more talented than her, I know I have more friends than her, and I know I love myself, and I know that she doesn't love herself. She keeps saying to me that she thinks I'm God's gift. She just constantly like refers to me as like God's gift, and that I think I'm all that or whatever, which is like, why would you say like, oh, I hate you because you love yourself, or I hate you because you think you deserve a good life? Because being God's gift means that you think you deserve a good life, or you think you deserve the good things you have, and I felt like I deserve the good things I have, so why are you gonna hate on someone for having a good life because they love themselves? And I remember her being like, fucking go eat some kale, you vegan. Like, as if that was an insult. It's quite obvious. If you think being a vegan is dumb or stupid, then you're obviously the one with a lack of education. And I just realized it was so hard to talk to her because she clearly doesn't have the same education level as like everyone else. But yeah, going to the jail part, so you know, she sells maple syrup. It's a dangerous job to sell maple syrup. Like, I just don't want to like refer to saying like drugs just because like I don't want to get this video demonetized, even though it probably is already demonetized. Most people, they do that for about a year and they get out of it, or they do that for a couple months and then get out of it. For the past like 3 years that I've ever known her, she's just continued to like sell, and she doesn't do it like safely. Eventually, if you're gonna play with fire, you're going to get burned. If you're drug dealing, and this is like advice to people who are doing it, it's not about if you get caught, it's about when you get caught. I'm pretty sure none of us were surprised that she got caught because, one, she made a lot of enemies. She didn't just taunt me, she taunted other people. I know other people that she's bullied, who she's been nasty to. I've seen her be nasty to other people. I've seen her be nasty to my friends, and I've seen her be nasty to me. But it's okay because I've got thick skin and I can take it. I remember Darren's friends were telling me that the first time they met Selma, while Darren and Selma were dating, they were only dating for a few months. Darren's friends, when they met Selma, the first thing Selma said to them was, "I don't like you." And when I talked to Selma's other ex, who's actually a really close friend of mine, he is an ex from after Darren, I heard a lot of things from how he's been treated, and he obviously was treated the same way Darren was treated. You know, she threatened the same things. She'd be very jealous with female friends, wouldn't let them go out without her there, and was just very passive aggressive. And like everything I heard her exes, I know like most of her exes, everything I've heard her exes say about her, Darren has gone through 10 times worse. Like, Darren is literally, he has a heart of gold. He is an angel to not want to like expose this girl for what she has done and some of the crazy, psycho, shitty things that she has done to him. It's not my place to say. It's not my place to say the shitty things she's done to her ex. It's not my place to say those things, but you know, if you're a friend of her or if you know us, then you know these things. I actually feel really sorry for the girl. Like, I feel sorry for her because she is now in a concrete box for the next however many months. You know, she sells drugs because she doesn't have a hobby. She obviously needs to work on her mental health, and I think, to me, it was obvious. And like, I know this is a very joking and funny video, but at the end of the day, like, Selma, if you're watching this, all I want you to do when you come out of jail is to fucking put a smile on your face. I would love to see a smile on your face, and this isn't coming from like a bitchy, like sour part of me who's like, yeah, put a smile on your face. Like, I think you would look beautiful with a smile on your face, and I feel like you deserve to put a smile on your face, but you have to actually work on yourself and look at how you treat other people. Look at how you treat your friends. Look at how you treat the people around you, how you treat the people you love. She has pushed everyone away from her. She's been in jail for the past week, I think. My sources tell me. She's already lost her like last friend because apparently, oh my god, this is tea that's like not even needed to be in this video, but I'm gonna spill that tea. Basically, she called her best friend not knowing that it was her best friend's number, and then pretty much talked shit about her best friend to her best friend, which is so fucked up, and pretty much lost her last friend. And I don't know if she has any more friends left. She might make some friends in jail, or I hope she gets a therapist or a psychiatrist. She obviously has anger issues and other mental health issues, which I don't feel like I need to say because that's her own private issues. I know this might be somewhat anticlimactic. I'm trying to wrap this up because it's a 40-minute long video. This video isn't to expose her. Obviously, I'm not putting her name out there to hurt her or hurt her friends if she has any, or to hurt her family, or to give her a wake-up call. This is not the point of this video, and if you think this is, then you obviously don't know me. I want to talk about how Darren and I got together, and when we make that video of how Darren and I got together, it would be so hard to talk about how we got together without mentioning Selma and without mentioning how crazy she was to me, which almost drove me to Darren, because I was like, fuck, like, who is this? This is so scary. Like, this girl's so fucking weird. Like, what the fuck? You know, at the end of the day, I'm a human, and I've made mistakes, and I've said some bad things to her as well, too. I can obviously justify and say, imagine being called, like, multiple times a day, being called racist slurs, being made fun for certain insecurities. Like, I remember her calling me, like, fat and stuff, and I was never, like, you know, fat, but, like, I had insecurities with weight, and especially I knew that she had insecurities with weight, and I would never call her fat back. Like, every time she made fun of me for my physical appearance, I would never make fun of her for her physical appearance, because I didn't need to stoop that low. I knew she hated herself enough. I knew that her life was shit enough. Why should I drag her down as well, too? The only people who would probably know who I'm talking about is just, like, my few friends. I want her to find who she is. I also want to apologize for all of the bad things I've said, because I've also been a little bit rude back, or I've also been impatient back with her. If someone's trying to drag me down, like, give me a second, I'll pull you down with me. Nah, I'm not really that kind of person. I try to kill people with kindness, but this specimen right here was really testing me. So it's good to know that she's actually locked up, only because I know that being in a routine and being, like, I feel like she just needed someone to, like, tell her straight. Like, I feel like, so there was many people in her life who didn't tell her things straight, because she has such a loud scream and screechy and, like, grunting type of, like, vulgar. She's very vulgar. A lot of her friends let her step over. She was so vulgar that nobody would want to deal with it. Honestly, I didn't want that baggage. The only reason I was telling her that I didn't want to be with Darren, because I didn't want to carry that baggage, as in, like, her baggage, which was a lot. But yeah, I hope I didn't miss out on anything. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna head off. I've been here for like 40 minutes. But I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening to this video. And there was probably so many moments where you were just like, because I was like that for 2 years straight dealing with this. Honestly, I'm just glad that I'm never gonna get a message from her. I'm never gonna get a DM from her until whenever the fuck she gets out. And honestly, I feel like she will be a better person when she gets out, because I have hope in humanity, and she was just burning bridges, and while she was in jail, she was still burning bridges. Nobody who loves themselves would say that nasty stuff to me. Like, any person who says such nasty stuff to people, they obviously don't love what's in here, and it's so obvious that, like, it's almost like you want to give them a hug, but you have so much pride. Like, I have so much pride because she's done so much shit to me. Sometimes I'm like, I wouldn't give her a hug. I wouldn't fucking touch her with a 10-inch pole. But then there's, like, part of me, like, now where it's like, I've said everything. I feel like I can put this behind me. I've got the rest of my life ready for me. Hopefully she feels like she's got the rest of her life in front of her. And I just don't want her to think that I hate her, because I obviously don't. I don't hate anybody in the world. Honestly, I feel like she just didn't get enough hugs and love as a child, where she could look back to this video and be like, man, I can't believe I was that fucking crazy. But I love you guys all so much, and I hope you have a good day. Love you guys. Bye.
Man, soul be the essence. Deep set force connect the past to the present. We're here today.